That's a kettlebell sport long cycle introduction, and today I will show you the first unit of it, clean to the rack. Last video was about swing, and it was phases number 1 and number 2 of the clean to the rack. And if you want to watch it again, please click the link below. But today we will start from phase number 3, accelerating pull. Acceleration pull start where the swing forward ends. And if you remember again from the last video, I was pointing that the swing forward should end with the bent legs, and arms should be separate with your body, and that will be the beginning of accelerating pull, because we need to use counterbalance, and that's how accelerating pull works. So we start this accelerating pull not by pulling them with our arms, but basically moving balance to the very end of our heels and basically start falling back, and that's what pulling the bells. And then when this move start, we also use our legs, straight them, and that's how we force this accelerating pull, and that's how it's even stronger. And now we move to phase number 4, insertion. As you can see, that insertion happens before we land our elbows, and ideally to rotate your thumbs outward, and that's how your elbows will be close to each other and narrow. If I will show you a few reps from the front, you will see. So that's the best preparation for you to land your elbows. If that's how insertion is done, then you just relax your arms and you see your elbows right above the pelvis, and they will perfectly land to your rack. Because one of the mistakes that I can see, that athletes clean the bells right away to their shoulders, and that's where they do this insertion, and after all they land the elbows, and I find it as a mistake. The type of insertion will help you to avoid bruises on your forearm, because as you can see, I'm not waiting when bell will fall on my forearm, and that's what mostly causes bruises on your forearm. Well, we'll try to show a few bad repetitions. So if you'll do something like this, so eventually of course you'll have bruises on your forearm. But with the style of cleans that I show, you touching the bell first, not bell falling on your forearm. And this way, well, and plus as you can see, when thumbs turning outward and palm facing forward, bell ahead, and it's even not laying on the forearm above the bell, and it's connected to the bell. So that's how you just cannot make any damage to your forearm this way. And again, well, I'm going a bit ahead explanation, but next phases that we will talking about, when your elbows will land, all what you need to do is just pull the bell and bring it to the final position of the rack. One of the most difficult part for beginners is transition from the grip for swing and insertion on the rack. So the first thing to understand, there is no any connection between these two. You cannot prepare yourself for good insertion during swing, and actually opposite, from the rack position you cannot prepare yourself anyhow for swing, and if you do, then probably you will have some problems with the grip. And what I mean is between the moment of accelerating pull and insertion, bell basically flying, and we shouldn't hold it. And that's one of the main reason why insertion didn't work. So we'll show you. So if you keep holding handle, see, it's very hard to make a perfect insertion. But if you will let the bell go, well, it's just for demonstration, and that's not how far you throw it when you do clean, but basically bell flying and your hand just following and very close to. And that's why when you're not holding the bell, you just insert your empty arm where you want it to be, and that's how insertion always will be deep. Even if you try to work like that, also can be some issues. Depends how accurate you move your hand inside of the window of the bell. And well, for me, simple way to explain it, if you can look through the window of the handle, so it's like you want to put a key to the keyhole. You want angle of the window match with the angle of your palm. You shouldn't on your way, you shouldn't touch the handle by your forearm. It should go right on the middle, and only the thumb can stuck on the top, and that's how insertion will work. Nothing should be on the way of your palm beside beside the top of the handle that you touch by your thumb. The rest you shouldn't touch. So that's how insertion works. Next important tip for successful insertion is your wrist. So when you try to insert your hand, do not do any motion in your wrist. It shouldn't be motion this way, it shouldn't be motion this way. So from the front view, keep it straight and one line. From the side, keep it straight and one line, and even I can say try to keep some, like pulling it backward as hard as you can. Not forward for sure, like this. So you basically take your whole forearm and hand as one piece, and that's how you do the insertion. So again, if there's the bell, so that's how you insert the hand, and also as you can see, direction of insertion is about 45 degrees compared to the line of the handle. Not perpendicular, because if you do it perpendicular, again, you see your hand will stop a bit sooner as it should, and that's how, well, you can just stuck on the halfway. So that's why ideally to do 45. We'll show you a few reps. Maybe this will be a better view. No tension in your hand, in your fingers. You don't need to, again, squeeze the handle. Basically, just hanging on your thumb here. Yeah, and again, right position when most of the weight is right on the bottom of your palm and right above your wrist. It's not good when you feel the most of the weight on your thumb. Of course, that's not a good insertion, right? When you're pulling your hand and your forearm will be all tense like this. Also, mistake to just fight for the angle in your wrist, and you can see this way I even kind of rising up a bell a little bit, and that's a huge work for your forearm, and actually that causes also lots of like tension and pressure on your forearm. So don't fight for this angle too much. Just keep it relaxed and make the whole weight be mostly here on the very bottom of your palm. That's where the most of the weight of the bell. A few repetitions of insertion with 2 kettlebells. When insertion done, it's time to land our elbows. And now it's time for me to show all these phases all the way to elbows landing. Side view. So as you can see, that's not a complete clean to the rack yet. It's just elbows landing. So we complete, I believe, the most technical part of the clean, because the rest is just so easy. When your elbows already on your pelvis, you need just to straighten your legs and pull the bells and touch the shoulders, and that's how you complete the whole clean. But right now, just elbows landing. And again, don't worry that your bells far from your shoulder. Don't try to complete clean right away. Just focus on landing your elbows and keep your elbows as close to each other as possible. So that's why you want thumbs outward, and that's why body of the bells will be ahead of your forearm. That's exactly what we need. The next fast number 6, force absorption. And actually, a force absorption fast, the fast that presents not in every lifting of yours, and it depends on your pace, how fast you're lifting, and weight of the bells. And I can say, as heavier the bells and slower your pace, as more you need this force absorption. And well, as lighter the bells, as faster you go, as less you need this fast. And I'll try to explain how it works. So again, if we all imagine this clean portion, and when we did insertion and elbows landing, so one way for you to make it, when you just catch your elbows on your straight legs and not squatting under the bells. I will show you a few repetitions. And that's it. After that, you just touch your shoulders and ready to go for jerk fast. So that's when the bells light, when it's no problem at all to clean the bells, don't feel heavy. That's how you save the time. But when bells are heavy and serious, well, I can say like professional division 32 kilogram bells, you probably will feel that you need to smooth this movement a little bit, and you will start to use this force absorption fast. And well, that's how it will look. Another thing to say about the force absorption, that when you land your elbows and bend your legs, the weight should go to your legs. It should push you down, it shouldn't push you backward. So force absorption means direction down, not backward. And that's how your low back will be safe. I will show you a few reps. Even no connection of kettlebell in your shoulders. That's how your low back will feel nice and comfortable. Even it's good during this first dip, feel stretching of your low back, because if you clean the bells to your shoulders, you strike your shoulders and there is a tension in your low back, and that's a not good thing to do. stretching of your low back and load your legs. Load your legs, that's what force absorption means. And now we're ready to complete the clean to the rack and get to the rack fixation. Front view. What's important in the rack fixation? Imagining ourselves as bells. First of all, your legs straight. And that's a kind of challenge. Depends on your flexibility, your body proportions, and not everyone able to keep their elbows rested on the pelvis and lock their knees. If I will show the side view, the ways, the types of the rack position can be few of them. So some of the athletes, that's the best they can get. So when they're able to reach their pelvis, they cannot straighten their legs. Or if they can straighten their legs, they lost connection of elbows. So between these two issues, I think better to connect your elbows and keep your legs bent. Because legs stronger than your upper body, that's what I'm thinking. And of course that's not ideal, and ideal to keep them straight, but more important for you to keep your elbows on the rack. And you just can make your legs stronger and do more exercises for your back squats and other exercises. But again, most of all, just think about how to keep your elbows connected and resting on the pelvis. When your elbows connected, let's think about balance and the way how you're standing with kettlebells. I will clean them on the rack. So let's imagine the weight of kettlebells in percentage. And if I'm carrying now two 8 kilogram bells, let's say that's 100% of the weight. So ideally to have this 100% on the bottom of your elbows, all weight. Because if you will sharing this weight with your upper body and shoulders, then your low back will start to work and you will start to lean back. So I can say that type of posture, that's where half of the weight on my chest and only half of the weight under my elbows. And you can see that my low back starts to feel tension and my legs as well, and they start to get bent. So that's not a good way to rest, and that's what can cause you discomfort in your low back. So try to move weight forward. Basically, you should be able to rack the bells and not touching shoulders at all. That's how the balance works. And again, you're touching your shoulders, but you're not resting the bells on your shoulders. Let's talk about connection between left and right side when you do the rack position. I will show it to you with kettlebells. That's the way how I do the rack position by my own. And as you can see, I'm not locking the handles. Handles touching each other, but fingers don't do any work. Well, the reason why I do it, because I feel it's better balanced work between right and left forearm. And when I did it before, when I grabbing the opposite handle, I feel that it was just extra work for my left forearm. When I did it every rep, this extra work. Somehow, not on every set, but on some of the sets, I felt like my left forearm starts to get tired sooner than right. So that's what made me think that probably I shouldn't lock the handles when I'm standing on the rack position. And again, what you should feel here in the rack position is that all weight is under your elbows. But how exactly you're holding bells and you turn your palms like this, backward, or you turn them forward like this, or facing to each other, that's up to you. And I think that depends on your body proportions, your flexibility, so it's very individual and it's not mistake how exactly you hold bells. And actually that's a good test for your rack position. If you're able to do rotations like that and your elbow never slide out from the rack, it means that your rack is good. Because if you will try to rotate, an elbow will slide, so it means that your elbow's not on the places where it should be. Advice for safe clean: when you're about to land your elbows, keep your fingers pointed up. Never hold the handle and never have your fingers between handles, because that's how you can accidentally bump it and bump your nail. So I will show you a few repetitions and what I mean. So point the fingers up, and even if you're locking your handles, first here the handles touch, and it means that you can lock your handles. It's not good when your fingers below the handle line. That's how this accident bumps can happen, and I'm quite sure almost each of the kettlebell lifter had this bad experience, but again, I just want to advise you and avoid this unfortunate accident and keep your fingers above the handle line. Keep your palms open when you clean. One more time, I want to repeat, in my opinion, one of the most important point of the clean is the continuity of your insertion, elbows landing, and shoulder touch. So insertion happens first, then you land your elbows, and then you touch your shoulders. And after all, you lock your handles. That's only the way how you can do it. You shouldn't mess this continuity, because if you will try to land, touch your shoulders first, and that's how you do insertion, and after all you will land your elbows, that's the not rational correct way to lift. So again, just keep this formula in your mind, and I think that that's the formula of successful clean to the rack. Insertion first, elbows landing second, shoulder touch third, and lock the handles. That's the last thing to do. That was clean to the rack. I believe most important part of the long cycle. Depends how well you will manage the clean to the rack. As better your grip will feel, as better your rack position will be, and it means that better breathing you will have and less tension in your upper body. So that's very important to do it right. Of course, we should pay attention to other phases of the exercise as well, the jerk portion and the way how we drop the bells, but we will talk about it next time.